President Trump proposes slashing funding for NASA by nearly 25%.
Yeah, the move could threaten thousands of jobs in Houston, as well as key programs at the Johnson Space Center.
Katira Winfrey is in the newsroom now with a closer look for us. Katira.
Lynn and Mia, it's important to note that this is the first proposed budget, and experts say looking at it now could spell good news for NASA, perhaps not so much for the Johnson Space Center. But I'm told this budget does fall in line with the Trump administration's goals to increase exploration to the moon and Mars.
Depending on how you view the White House Office of Management and Budget fiscal year 2026 skinny budget, you may think, Houston, we have a problem.
We expected kind of big programmatic changes, but that doesn't take away from the fact that these are monumental changes for NASA and Johnson Space Center.
Eric Berger is a senior space editor with Ars Technica and has covered the budget for 2 decades. Under the current proposal, human space exploration could see a near $650 million increase in funding, but about 8 other areas could end up being cut, slashing NASA's budget by 25%. In a statement to KHOU, NASA says this proposal includes investments to simultaneously pursue exploration of the moon and Mars while still prioritizing critical science and technology research.
Yeah, broadly speaking, it's not a good budget for Johnson Space Center.
He says the proposed cuts could impact the Orion spacecraft program, which is managed here at JSC. The Lunar Gateway program is also managed here and is expected to employ flight controllers working on the International Space Station. And finally, impact the utilization of the International Space Station, also managed in Houston. The budget would likely turn to use a cheaper option, commercial exploration.
The impact will be economic, right? If you have fewer contractors employed at Johnson Space Center, the economy around Clear Lake and in the broader Houston community will see a hit.
Berger says it makes sense looking at NASA's budget to see what works and what doesn't, in hopes for more NASA success later in the century.
And NASA hasn't commented on how the proposed budget might impact operations, jobs, and contracts at the Johnson Space Center. But again, this is the proposed budget. Congress will ultimately have to approve it, and experts expect to see extensive debate on that topic.
Yeah, I bet there would be debate. We'll see how it plays out. Katira, thank you.